Okay, so for the record, I'm looking at some pictures with what appears to be a muni truck that is adjacent to a structure which looks to be the structure in question. And it's, I can't tell from the pictures, is this a 3rd Street side of the building?
Yes, that's the 3rd Street side.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let staff look at these as well. They're not, I don't have a date as to, when were these taken?
Those were taken at the time of the accident, which was actually quite some time ago. No, not quite that long. It's February 20, once I have the police report, if you give me a second, it was February 2009.
So February 20th, 2009 is when the accident occurred.
If you'd like to take a look at the police report,
Thank you,
we're happy to see.
Thank you. For the record, we also had a traffic collision report dated February 20th, 2009, and I'm not gonna, I don't have time to go completely through this, but I do see it does show a sketch of the area and where the impact occurred, which appears to be the 3rd Street side of the building. If we could let staff take a look at that.
So after the accident happened, the building was boarded up through 2 nights ago when there was some vandalism in which someone tore off that siding, which we don't have pictures of the siding before, but that's something that, as the inspector indicated, happened yesterday. The state of the picture that were shown by the inspector is the current state, but this is something that's just happened on the property. Owners are trying to return it to the to address that damage.
Let me just ask a question, and then
And we're
definitely
filing
need
a police
additional
report
time.
on that also.
But I just want to, the question that I have is, we have a building that's got damage, February 2009, it was obviously covered with some kind of siding. Was that acceptable to staff, and if so, what were some of the other maintenance issues that were of concern? Because I'm not.
It was certainly acceptable in the onset for just boarding up, for a temporary, situation. However, since 2009, it's existed in the same condition, and that is not in compliance with the original notice of violation that was written in 2009.
For that.
For the 2009 violation, there's a 2010 violation as well as a 2011 violation. If it isn't fixed, it would be a 2012 violation. So I'm just kind of laying it out.
So that, as far as the maintenance aspect of the vacant and abandoned building ordinance, repairing this more than just the siding is something that you're requiring.
Absolutely.
And were there other maintenance issues associated as well that needed to be done?
There are an abundance of deferred maintenance issues around the building. This is the primary one that we cited them for.
Okay, that was.
And I should say the previous violations, my understanding is that we came into compliance with them. We had worked with the building inspectors to come to a agreement about what was acceptable, and those were addressed. So it's not as though.
Yeah, I'll let him finish.
And I understand they were working with us. I'm not saying that the building was fixed anyway. They were clearly working with us because of another element, which I'd be more than happy to discuss, which is the efforts that we've been making through the city with the extended litigation that's been involved surrounding the accident of the bus. And it's been a complicated thing. There's been numerous city agencies that have been involved, but Muni, the city attorney's office, and have worked extensively with the redevelopment agency to try to see whether we could at the same time concurrently settle the case with the city on the Muni bus, which they acknowledge that they have liability, but have not made an offer to pay anything, a specific offer, even though we have made demands and that litigation has been ongoing. But they brought redevelopment into it, which we were happy to do, put out a request for bids for an architect to create drawings and create architectural plans to transform the building into something that we thought would be useful for the community, that would also have some utility for the owners. It envisioned a community space that would be, the building on the bottom would be rebuilt It would be increased to a second floor that would have an open space that would be a space that community members could meet at, that there could be public meetings there. And, you know, that is a process that had been, or that has been ongoing. The drawings have now been completed, which I think the building inspectors may or may not know about, by Macy Architects. You know, there has been progress in that, but in trying to get the city to provide the funds to repair the building as a result of the bus accident, there has been this complex litigation that, and this attempt to settle the case that has involved the redevelopment, which has been, you know, very slow, to say the least. And we've been, you know, working with that and continue to work with that, and hope, you know, there's nothing more that the owners would like than to resolve that, and to get the building, you know, repaired and in a state that's useful to everyone in the community. And it's been, you know, there were discussions about bringing particular types of businesses into that space, which quite frankly were sort of things that the Bayview doesn't need, whether it's liquor stores or barbecue joints. And, you know, what we've been doing is working with redevelopment to try to create a space that would not bring something into the Bayview that you know, would not be useful to the community, but instead bring some sort of business that provided some sort of service to the Bayview that did not exist, and that did not exist there already, and that would create some open community space for people to use. And, you know, that has been the backdrop to this that has created great complexity, you know, in the litigation and trying to get that resolved, and the funds available to completely renovate that building. But the, you know, the architectural drawings now have been completed, and we continue to work with the city attorney's office in that regard. And, you know, we're going to have obviously we've been sent from jury trial to arbitration, but, you know, set an arbitration to bring that to the head, because obviously you know, the current condition and concerns of community members who we've tried to work with, who wanted to meet with us, some who are here today. I've offered to meet with them. We had one meeting set up that I unfortunately had to cancel on, but offered to meet the day before, the Monday after, the Thursday. The meeting was originally Friday, it turned out it was a holiday. On the Thursday, or the Monday, or any other day that they suggested. And unfortunately, we did not receive any response. And the first we're hearing, obviously, is that there are some community members here who are understandably concerned. I don't think they're familiar with what's happened in the litigation and the involvement of redevelopment. But that's the complex story. It's not a building that when you look at it and you see the things are torn down that the owners don't care about and don't want to fix. It will definitely take efforts to, you know, repair what was the damage that was, you know, vandalized yesterday, which was, you know, obviously felt like vandalism. But that's where we are. I'm sorry, I wanted to get that.
Your staff had one. Did you want to add something?
Well, no, I was just listening to that dialogue. I think it's, issues at hand I know are complicated. However, really the building department is really only asking for compliance with the existing permit that they have and addressing the initial violation that was written back when the bus first hit the building. The rest of our cases have been because of the other issues going on, you know, as far as their ability to repair or whatever other plans they have. So
as a building inspector, let me ask you
yes.
this. Obviously, I see that you may want to use this as an opportunity to gain more community-based usage of the building, maybe possibly change the use of the building. But as a hearing officer here today, my issue is, your litigation notwithstanding, is how much of a repair needs to be made to make that structure safe. While you're going through the litigation, while you're deciding with the community, with your client as to what the next step as far as the use of the building is going to be. How extensive a repair are we talking about to the front of that building or the Third Street side? Are we saying it's going to cure this? I mean, just an overview. I mean, obviously you're not doing plan